At a two-day forum on ending violence against children in Nigeria, Mrs. Beatrice Jedy-Agba, Solicitor General of the Federation, expressed concerns about over recent studies that are showing that 6 out of 10 children in Nigeria experience physical, sexual, and emotional violence before the age of 18. Fewer than 5% of those who report violence receive significant support, and she has highlighted the need for reforms in the juvenile justice system and called for collaborative efforts to end child abuse. UNICEF also urged the full implementation of the child rights law and emphasized the need for sufficient resources to protect vulnerable children. How much protection would you say our children are really getting in Nigeria now from the society that you're?
Well, we used to hear that it takes a community to raise a child in Africa. But right now it's not so. You can scold a child when you see the child doing what's not right, even in the absence of the parents. But right now, if you do that, you may find yourself in police. If you are not given a thorough beating, who gave you the right to touch my child?
Don't you think it's because the emotions of the children are considered now? Back then, as a child, you don't have emotions. In fact, nobody cares about you being depressed.
Good. So we are always looking at most of these borrowed laws in society that are civil, in society that has good foundation for their children. Implementing laws that are borrowed, that we don't have the foundation to implement them, is part of these challenges. But in any case, I encourage and support the Child Rights Act.
What foundation do we need to implement some of these borrowed? I would even like you to mention, okay, I made an example, right, which you referred to as a borrowed law, but what foundation do we even need to implement the emotions of a child, saying that the emotions of a child actually matters?
You see, when we talk about emotions of the children, of a child, there are so many factors that distort their emotions.
Okay.
We have daily breakage of marriage, separations, divorces. You have economic challenges. We have several factors that affect or attack the emotions of our young children. So it's not just in the school. At home, their emotions are challenged. There are some churches that have to flog a child in the name of deliverance. Good koboko, casting out demons on them. So religion is another threat to children's emotion. The family is another threat. The threat I'm talking about, maybe because of one's social reasons or the other economic reasons, maybe a child is staying with you. And then instead of you to treat that child as one of your own biological children, you begin to dehumanize that child. You begin to give that child, responsibilities that your own children will not be subjected to. So love has reduced in our society. And then the communal, responsibilities in raising children, like before, has greatly reduced because everybody now is on his own. Like we celebrate this song now in Rivers State. Day your day, oh, make a day my day. Those songs are not Africans oriented. Because in Africa, we celebrate brotherhood. You cannot day your day when your brother is crying. Is that correct? It's not right morally. So those songs are not encouraging, unity.
Unfortunately, that's what it's beginning to look like.
That's why
everybody being on their own.
Yes, those are, I don't want to say because of my Western friends, anyway. But that's what seems to be in the Western society. The Western society is not an African society. It's not everything that is bad and wrong in Africa. But unfortunately, we have allowed social engineering to make us believe that all about Africa is negative and wrong. So we have the African lifestyle, in terms of communal living, is the biblical standard, where you become your brother's neighbor. Your neighbor is your brother, right?
Brother's keeper.
You become, thank you for the right word. You become your brother's keeper. But in the Western world,
well, now it seems like even the society, it seems like when you have children now, you have to even protect your children from the society.
That's what we are saying.
So how do you allow that same society help you bring up that child? Is the society that we have today the same society we had yesterday?
The question is, how did we get to where we are? I told you that we have allowed social engineering. Now let me even tell you.
Yes.
Part of the effects, you know, the social media have its positive effect, wonderful one, and also its negative effects. Social media has reduced the level of our social interactions physically, our communal lifestyle physically as Africans. Because you can stay in your house for a whole 1 year without visiting your brother, but you are talking with your brother via social media.
Okay.
Right? So it is encouraging us. These are social engineering I'm trying to emphasize. Technology has also stepped in. So these are where the concept and the ideology of day your day, oh, make a day my day, oh, you know, is really striving. And when day your day, make a day my day, continues to be the order of the day, we'll be losing brotherhood. We'll be losing communal life. We'll be losing, you know, social, physical interactions. And there are some problems you can't solve via phone. There are problems you have to solve one-on-one. Emotional solution most times is when you're able to feel the pains and the needs of that child.
Okay, so what do you think we need to do now to, you know, reduce the alarming rate of violence against children?
We must go back to love your neighbor as you love yourself. We must go back to that society that my neighbor's child is my child. My brother's child is my child. Right? My uncle is my relation. There
is no lie in what you're saying. Because sometimes this violence comes from the family. Sometimes it's even the father or the mother, step or whatever, biological, that's actually inflicting this violence on these children. And like you have said, making or seeing your neighbor's child as your child. I've seen cases, I've seen videos that people have posted on social media where their neighbor is maltreating their children and they're just somewhere taking videos and shouting, ah, madam, what you did do no good and all of that. You know, but I know that it would not be the same. You understand? So sometimes this violence is even from within against that child. But if you see that child as your child, you will not be in one corner of your room taking videos. Because if that was your child that they are maltreating, you will not even remember where your phone is.
Good.
So like you have said, love should actually...
You know, so we must, you know, revive the culture of love. And let's also practice, you know, a sound morality.
Okay.
Christianity do not encourage hates, you know, but you find people who are hating others. We must protect one another.
All right.
That's why if we can, irrespective of our religious differences, because the child they are beating is a Muslim child, I don't need to give attention, right? They can kill him.
Because I'm Christian.
Because I'm a Christian.
Right.
This child is the Christian, or we are not the same church. Had it been we are the same parish. You know, so we just have, oh, the father is a native doctor. We mustn't treat people based on their color, based on their religion, based on their ethnic group. Let us see ourselves as one.
Thank you, I appreciate it.